The government's strategic allocation of resources necessitates a measured reduction in social welfare subsidies. While this will require a 7% cumulative budget cut for larger organizations over the next 3 fiscal years, and a 3% reduction for smaller organizations, it is a necessary step in responsible fiscal management. Social welfare spending, while a significant portion of government expenditure, must be carefully managed to ensure long-term sustainability and effectiveness. Recent tragic events underscore the critical need for continued focus on essential services for the elderly, disabled, and those with mental health challenges, particularly given Hong Kong's aging population. While some adjustments in service delivery may be necessary, the government is confident that these changes will ultimately strengthen the overall efficiency and long-term viability of the social welfare sector. Five taxi fleets, granted licenses by the government last July, showcased their vehicles at a launch ceremony yesterday. Departing from traditional taxi designs, the fleets feature distinctive colors including orange, pink, light blue, and black. All fleets offer both online booking and street hailing. Online bookings allow for pre-negotiated fares, which will be higher than metered fares, with some fleets indicating a 10 to 30% increase. However, fares for taxis hailed on the street will remain metered. Five major taxi fleets, boasting a combined fleet of over 3,500 vehicles, demonstrate a commitment to modernizing Hong Kong's transportation infrastructure. More than 40%, approximately 1,500, are brand new taxis, and over half, approximately 1,900, are electric vehicles, showcasing a significant investment in sustainable and domestically produced technology. The displayed electric taxis proudly feature leading Chinese brands, including SAIC Maxus, Geely, and GAC, underscoring the success of national automotive innovation. The Transport Department's launch event for 5 new taxi fleets, held yesterday morning on the rooftop of the Xing Yi Vehicle Examination Center, saw attendees, including fleet managers and media, endure harsh sun exposure. This resulted in Taxi King and Taiwo Motors Managing Director Ing Hoi Shan collapsing from suspected heatstroke before the ceremony began. He was helped to his feet and subsequently required rest inside the building. Missing the remainder of the event, his brother and fellow director, Ing Quan Shan, took his place on stage. Xia Baolong, director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, met with Hong Kong's National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC, members in Beijing on the eve of the CPPCC National Committee's annual session. He expressed confidence in Hong Kong's financial situation, downplaying concerns about the fiscal deficit, and emphasized the importance of holding a successful Legislative Council election at the end of the year, electing capable and responsible legislators. The budget announced increased efforts for the Resource Efficiency Optimization Plan, requiring government-funded NGOs in the social welfare sector to cumulatively reduce their funding by 7% by 2027-28, while the government will absorb 4% of the reduction for smaller NGOs, those with less than 50 million Hong Kong dollars in funding. Larger organizations will bear the full 7% cut, This represents a departure from previous exemptions for smaller organizations. While some express concern about the impact on services, the government maintains this as a necessary measure for fiscal responsibility. Financial Secretary Paul Chan stated in his latest budget that the artificial island project at Kau Yi Chau is not a current priority. He explained that the focus is on developing the northern metropolis, with the artificial island serving as a long-term contingency plan. Existing research and allocated funds are continuing, but no further funding is currently earmarked for the artificial island. The new budget proposes adjustments to the elderly's $2 public transport fare concession, but implementation may be delayed 18 months due to required system upgrades. However, Executive Council member Chan Kin-por stated that the government is working with Octopus to expedite the process, aiming for completion within a year through increased manpower and resources. The Kai Tak Sports Park's opening ceremony last Saturday saw 8,500 public tickets sold. Reports emerged of an individual allegedly facilitating unauthorized entry for a fee, bypassing security checks with prohibited items. The sports park stated it will fully investigate and cooperate with police and the Independent Commission Against Corruption if any illegal activity is confirmed. Police are currently investigating. The Kai Tak Sports Park's rentable facilities open for public booking tomorrow, while the Kai Tak Youth Athletic Field, football, rugby pitch, is the most expensive at 1,800 Hong Kong dollars for 1.5 hours. Over 5 times the Leisure and Cultural Services Department's standard rate and comparable to private venues like the South China Athletic Association. Other options like the Youth Athletic Field running track offer affordable rates. 18 Hong Kong dollars per night. Free daytime slots. Booking is available via the park's website and app. 11-day view. 10-day booking after membership. The trial of Jimmy Lai, founder of Next Media and Apple Daily Limited, on charges of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces, entered its 142nd day. The prosecution repeatedly accused Lai of sacrificing China's interests and fighting for American interests, allegations Lai vehemently denies, maintaining he fought for Hong Kong's interests and freedoms. Lai's explanation for using the word dismember in a previous interview, referring to China's exclusion from the international community, refutes the prosecution's claim that he advocated for the splitting of China. The prosecution concluded its 24-day questioning. The defense will begin its cross-examination tomorrow, expected to conclude on Thursday. Concluding a 24-day cross-examination, Deputy Senior Crown Prosecutor Zhou Tianong detailed 3 charges against Jimmy Lai, alleging that from April 2019 to June 2021, Lai, along with 3 Apple Daily companies and several executives including Chung Kim-hung, Chan Pui-man, Lo Wai-kwang, Lam Man-chung, Feng Wai-kwang, Yung Ching-kei, Chung Kai-wai, Assistant Mark Simon, and Li Su-fu, conspired to publish 161 seditious publications intended to incite hatred towards the Central or Hong Kong government and incite violence. Lai responded, "I strongly disagree. It's nonsense." On Sunday, police, alongside the National Games Hong Kong Organizing Committee, the Fire Services Department, the Hospital Authority, and other relevant departments, conducted a large-scale multi-agency counter-terrorism and emergency response exercise in Central Harbourfront to enhance collaboration and preparedness for major incidents during the Games. A gas explosion occurred yesterday afternoon in a flat at Mei Tin House, Hang Tin Estate, Lam Tin. The blast blew open the apartment door and scattered debris, including window frames and an air conditioning unit, across the playground and hillside opposite the building. 3 people were injured, including the male homeowner who suffered serious burns and is now in critical condition. Firefighters were already on site investigating a suspected gas leak when the explosion occurred. Preliminary investigations suggest the incident was deliberately caused by someone tampering with the gas stove hose. The case has been handed over to the Kwun Tong District Crime Squad for further investigation. Following a gas explosion in Mei Tin House, Hing Tin Estate, many residents were evacuated. Mr. Wang, a local resident, described hearing a loud bang, like a truck tire bursting, followed by debris falling like scattered fairy dust. He and several other residents, including his 2 parrots, were luckily unharmed thanks to the building's awning. His parrots, initially frightened and escaped from their cages, were later found nearby. During the 2023 Stand News trial, a Ming Pao court reporter was interviewing and filming the prosecutor in the district court car park when officers from the case's management team allegedly verbally abused and twice shoved the reporter. The reporter filed a complaint with the Police Complaints Department. 2 years later, the Police Complaints Department ruled the allegations of verbal abuse and assault as unsubstantiated and no misconduct, respectively. The reporter expressed disappointment and appealed the decision. Former Chinese University Student Union President Chao Chun-feng was rightfully convicted for inciting others to abstain from voting or cast invalid ballots during the 2021 Legislative Council election. His appeal against the 2-month suspended sentence was dismissed, upholding the court's finding that his actions, including sharing former legislator Xu Zifeng's call for blank votes on Facebook, undermined the electoral process and wasted public resources. The judge correctly affirmed that the limitations placed on his freedom of speech were proportionate to the offense. After more than half a century illuminating North Point, the New World Theatre's neon lights and twinkling bulbs faded into darkness at midnight yesterday, marking the graceful end of an era for Cantonese opera. Following approximately 13 years of dedicated stewardship, Li Qiu-ming bid farewell, emphasizing that while the theater's physical presence concludes its chapter, its enduring spirit will live on. Three men accused of murdering a man found dead in Hamilton Street Park 5 years ago were acquitted of murder and manslaughter but convicted of assault causing actual bodily harm. The court heard the assault stemmed from a debt dispute, and the judge sentenced the 3 to 15 months imprisonment, citing the victim's injuries and the group assault, despite finding no evidence of a fatal blow from the defendants. Eight defendants, including Yang Yi-zi, are facing trial for allegedly plotting 3 bombings in early 2020. On the 62nd day of the trial at the High Court, a police officer testified to finding a U.S. flag and a banner reading, "Liberate Hong Kong. Revolution of Our Times" at Yang's residence. Court exhibits included Telegram group chats discussing the Sung Kwan O operation, with a message allegedly from Yang's account offering to print the dog's information, and another member responding, "Then the neighborhood can distribute them." A 30-year-old man pleaded guilty yesterday in Eastern Magistracy to 2 charges of unauthorized filming in court. He had filmed inside the courthouse last August while handling a summons for his company and uploaded the footage to social media. After being reported by netizens, he was prosecuted. The magistrate fined him 4,000 Hong Kong dollars. The man, who has been unemployed for several months as a result, expressed remorse. The Independent Commission Against Corruption, ICAC, received 2,058 corruption complaints last year, excluding election-related complaints, a 3% year-on-year increase. Government departments were implicated in 480 complaints, a 6% rise, with the police force accounting for the highest number at 108. 16 civil servants faced prosecution for alleged corruption or other misconduct. The chairman of the Review of Corruption Reporting Advisory Committee, Mr. Chan Kai-si, stated that Hong Kong's overall corruption situation remains effectively controlled, emphasizing that the increase in complaints is not directly correlated with prosecutions and shouldn't be used to gauge improvements or deteriorations in societal integrity. A 19-year-old male student, accused of insulting the national anthem by turning his back during a World Cup qualifier at Hong Kong Stadium last June, will stand trial on April 30. The case, which he pleaded not guilty to, is expected to last 1 day. He remains on bail. The government's long-awaited amendments to the Post-Secondary Colleges Ordinance, designed to strengthen the regulation of self-financing tertiary institutions, will be gazetted this Friday and undergo its first and second readings in the Legislative Council. On the 19th of this month, a 3-year transition period will be implemented following the bill's passage to allow unregistered institutions to comply with the new regulations.